40, Double Identity 39, Sokiola 35, Nats Nifty 33, Faking at 32, Mr. DG 32, Selby Bromac 31, Buck the Odds All Heart Peggy Dale 30, Flashing Red 29, Blue Galleon 25. So there is that big gap there to Blue Galleon, but Country Ways, look, I think he can scrape through with a top 4 probably, maybe even a top 5.
Yeah, there's still a bit of pressure on, isn't there? And as we go to the Port Perry race, I know Wes spoke briefly about it, but the heartbreak, your feelings just go out for the Watts family after that mistake. Fest was nothing short of sensational on night 2 in this Inter-Dominion series. It gave Darren Hancock a real buzz, and you've got barrier 1 tonight, Darren. A lot of people saying that 1 is just a tricky draw to hold the front from here.
Oh, I don't know.
I guess you can only do your best and finish up where you do, but he only just held the lead here, didn't he, the other night? Is that, if it's harder from 1, I guess there is that niggling doubt?
Yeah, probably. But he probably gets out as better than what some people think. You know, he can hold most of them out. So just we'll have to see when the gate goes. You know, you never know. There might be a quick beginner, but you know, we'll be doing our best to hold them.
We spoke on Tuesday about the fact that he's had a more luxurious build-up to this series than a lot of horses. I would expect that run on Tuesday has probably even lifted him to a new level.
Oh yeah, I couldn't be happy with him. I think he's just spot on. You know, and his work and they just seem so bright, you know, and it's done him a world of good. And, yeah, he's just about to get into the serious part now.
What have you made of what we've seen tonight? The Falcon Strike beaten again, Sokiola back to winning form. It's an interesting series.
Yeah, it's you know, it's a hard race. It's an Inter-Dominion, isn't it? Come final night, there's going to be, you know, the whole field. Any of them could win it with the right run. And there's a few stayers and there's a few speed horses sitting off them. So it's going to be one of them races, isn't it?
If you lead tonight, will you bowl him along like you did Tuesday?
Yeah, it just depends, you know. Yeah, I will. You know, he likes to roll along. He seems to take the sting out of the ones that are sitting on him, so we'll roll along a bit. Just depends on Mr. DJ. He'll probably go forward outside me, so we should be able to dictate if I lead. You know, we don't know yet.
Yeah, for sure. Good luck tonight, particularly from the pole, and also with the barrier draw for the final. Things going well and he get through because it's crucial to his chances.
Well, that's right. You know, and he's had a couple of good draws, so I hope it continues.
Good on you, Darren. Thank you. Darren Hancock there. Everything on target. Joe Fess, if possible, even better than he was when he broke the track record here Tuesday.
Adam, one thing is for sure, the heat has never bothered this guy. You might remember the Ballarat Cup just over 12 months ago when they had that scorcher. It was quite possibly his best career performance. He just thrived. He loves it the tougher that things get. And no doubt the next 3 days, predictions of 40 degrees and plus won't bother him too much. Now, from that Heat 9, the second of tonight's heats, the complete finishing order was Sokiola, Selby Bromac, the Falcon Strike, Nats Nifty, Blue Galleon, Mont Denver Gold, Ivory Trader, Meggie Deer, A Day's Pay, Chivalrous Fella, Digger of Fortune, and of course to Canorama, who broke at about the 350 out of play. Lead time was, where was it, 110.8. Sections after that were 32.2, 30.2, 28.2, 27.8. Comparable overall to the first heat tonight, but much sharper sectionally late in that particular heat. And as far as the points tally in this upcoming heat is concerned, Joe Fess currently sitting on 24. He's well poised. Light Red 8, Lombo Lafifi 8. They can't make the grand final. Final Quest, Sandy Bay and the Dyers Cast all on 15. They could make their way into the final with a surprise win. Torpedo the same on 14. Mr. DG 32 is already safe. Napoleon 21. From the wide draw, he has to do something. Country Ways 22 is thereabouts, and Golden Resonator on 10. Plenty of discussion, if not most of it, Adam, on the battle for the early lead. Most predicting that if Joe Fess holds, he'll win. If he gets crossed, he's in a little bit of trouble.
Yes, that's certainly the key scenario here. And just on that Ballarat Cup night, as if I can ever forget it, I think I left half my body weight there that night in sweat, Sam. It was the hottest race night I've ever been to. It seems like we've got a few days like that coming our way here in Perth. But, yeah, Joe Fest, barrier 1. Well, Darren Hancock, I mean, it was probably pointless asking on my behalf with him whether he could hold the front. He's never driven a horse from 1 from this start. But I've spoken to a number of different horsemen here about it, most notably Fred Kersley, who said, to quote him, you need a horse with a lot of zip to be able to hold the lead from barrier 1 here. So I just don't know whether Joe Fess has that explosiveness needed to hold up. If we remember, Sam, back to Tuesday night, it took everything Darren Hancock could muster to get him to hold from slightly wider out, where it was a little bit easier to muster pace. I don't know. I've got serious queries whether he can hold out. Light Red next door, a very quick beginner, and Lombo Lafifi. They've done a lot of work on her, and Aidan Warwick who just won the previous, of course, went past earlier. He said, I'm a lot happier with the mare in the last 48 hours. I think she'll show better gate speed than she has. For mine, if she shows better gate speed, she will be straight to the front and probably taking a set.
OK, that would put Joe Fess in a pretty precarious position. On Lombo Lafifi then, currently at $10 on the tab fixed odds in New South Wales. I mean, can she bounce back to winning form?
Well, she would be a chance. It would be, I guess, a heroic tip to say that she could lead and beat Mr. DG. But I think what she could do is maybe sit on Mr. DG, and she's got an explosive finishing burst at her very best. And, you know, we think about the ground she lost and how close she got and how strongly she finished on Tuesday night. She's obviously racing very well despite the fact she's been making those mistakes. So, yeah, look, I think she's a chance of a blowout, but I think more one to include in your trifectas. I'm starting to warm to Mr. DG once again, Sam.
Well, Adam, hard to dispute your line of thinking. He has been awesome. I know that you wrote an article in the Herald Sun quoting Anthony Butt, who was a bit miffed as to why the horse didn't gain the headlines after night one. He didn't have to worry about that after night two.
No, he certainly didn't. I think when I spoke to Anthony about that story, I said, hang on a second, you're in Perth here and the Falcon Strike won as well. So, you know, that's parochialism is alive and well over here. It was always going to be the Falcon Strike's headlines everywhere. That, I guess, dynamic has changed considerably over the last couple of rounds of heats. Mr. DJ, if he goes on to win tonight, I'm sure, almost regardless of any draw, will be a favourite and a clear one for the final if he runs up to his previous two heats and scores again tonight.
Adam, the Falcon Strike, he underwent a vet's examination after night one. His 2 runs since, as you have already pointed out, full of merit without winning, but, and this is a question that might be impossible for you to answer, is there any query on him regarding fitness?
Oh, look, it doesn't appear to be. I guess you could say that they haven't driven him as aggressively since night one, and that's when he had the scare, of course. But I think more so they've wanted to just not take him to the bottom of the well with the final in mind. So, no, he's still one of the big 3 for mine.
Yep, tend to agree with you. Thanks, Adam, for the time being. We'll get back and chat a little bit.
Hancock knows, Sam, you've been talking about how this point system might work out. Don't know whether he's dirty on you saying 28 might get you in, because it may not be enough for Peggy Dale to get into the final, but you got a bit of an anxious wait?
Yeah, I have, Adam. I thought the cut-off point, a bit like Sam, 28, 27, but, all heart tonight knocked a few out. Country Way's got to finish the first 4, I think, tonight in this last heat, but Selby's in, he's got 32, I'd say. But it'd be great to get Peggy Dale in for, just for you guys.
yeah, well, exactly. I know we've given him some curry, and I think one of the owners has got a hit squad here waiting for me. We'll deal with him later. Country Way's in the last. I mean, if he gets through to the final, he's earned it, hasn't he? Because he's had some bummer draws. I think he's had a shocking draw through the Carmel. He was my ace card, I thought, him and Selby. But Country Way's done a great job here. People mightn't realise that he's just run great. You love this horse, don't you?
I have had a lot of time for him. I've often said to John Starr and Jerry Fischel and the other owners that I thought this horse was going to step up the plate, and I've had a lot of problems over the last 18 months, little things, and now under their patience and all that, it's working out. And I think, the next season with Country Ways will do a great job. But in saying that, he's not out of this race. I think he's well, if he gets to the final, he's well and truly in it.
You had a horse like him in the last series here called Our Serve Ancelot. With any luck, he may nearly have won the final. That's the sort of luck Country Ways will need, though, isn't it? Everything to go right.
He will. He's got to draw good at him. He's got to be thereabouts. If he draws the first 3 or 4 down close, and they put the shuffle on in the race, and he's 3 back somewhere, they're just not handling that shuffle just yet. They're just dropping that 5 or 6 metres down the back and on the turn. But when he learns to adjust to that, I think you're going to find a very good horse.
Knowing Selby's history, he's handled those 3 runs. You would have been straight to him after the heat tonight.
Yeah, straight to him. And young Blake said in the Marston Yard, he said he's jumping out of his skin. And I said to Blake this morning, I said both these horses are on par. I aim from last October. I aim for the 26th of March this year. That's my baby, and I couldn't be happy with my 4 horses. Blue Gate him in a great 5th tonight. Peggy Dale, he's going to sort of sit on the fence. He's got 30 points, and I'd like to have 3 in the final.
All right, let's see if Country Ways can actually defy another bad barrier draw and cause a bit of an upset here.
Blake's just got to drive him better.
Good on you. There's Brian Hancock joining us. He's had a fantastic series, Sam. Looks as though he'll get 2, maybe even 3 through to this final. The Inter Dominion King is back and back in force.
It's easy for Brian to say now. Blake's just got to drive him better now that he's retired. The quartet at Mandurah, 7, 2, 6 and 5, $6,297.
The final heat of the Ross North Inter Dominion Championship is upcoming. And there has been an absolutely mammoth go in the bookmakers ring here for number 1, Joe Fess. He's into even money now with the bookmakers. Plenty of support, and it's just kept coming. He is the late male here, number 1, following his brilliant victory here on Tuesday when he rated a slick 155.9 over the 21.40. Number 8, Mr. DG, how do we knock him? Unbeaten in his heat so far. 11, Country Ways is doing everything right for Brian Hancock and Blake Fitzpatrick. And 9, Napoleon, looked very disappointing here on Tuesday night. If the speed is hot, he may run into it, but he really does need to improve. 1, 8, 11 and 9 are the numbers, but there has been a very, very big go in the bookmakers ring for the New South Wales pacer, Joe Fess, here in race 7.
Yes, Big Joey, the medium of huge support. Currently with the tab fixed odds, you can still get $2.40. So if you are a New South Wales punter or you have a New South Wales tab account, you can do considerably better than the even money on track, or you can take the Pari Mutual price, currently $2.30. Not guaranteed, of course, but that's what it currently is sitting at. Country Ways, Adam spoke with Brian Hancock. I think even though he's off the second line, this is probably his best draw through the series, because he should be able to follow through and get in front of a couple, as opposed to when he's drawn wide and had to go back at the start. There is absolutely no doubt, and it has been for some time, that this horse has got Inter Dominion written all over him. Whether it's in 2004, we'll know in 8 days' time. We might know in 80 seconds' time, because he'll have to perform reasonably well tonight. Championship decider for 2004. It's been a wonderful series so far. You get the feeling that no matter what happens here, the final in 7 days' time will be an absolute cracker. Let's join John Hunt trackside.
And Lombo La Fifi is at $8.20. Now, she can't make the final. Joe Fess needs to run about 1st to 7th. Napoleon needs to finish top 4. Country Ways top 5. Mr. DG's already in. Now, Sandy Bay, the Dyers Cast, Final Quest and Torpedo, any one of those wins, they'll go into the final. They're set to go. Green light on. Joe Fess beaten out a half length by Light Red. Make that 3/4. Likewise, Lombo La Fifi and Sandy Bay. And Joe Fess got Rocky. He's galloped. He's galloped out the back door. Joe Fess now, he needs to run in the first 7. He needs to get him down Hancock. He has. He's 4 lengths astern of the field. Light Red went to the lead and immediately tackled by the mare. It's Lombo La Fifi burning to the top, and across from the outside comes Napoleon. He's dashed forward. Mr. DG's 3 deep in midfield. At the end of a couple of 100 metres in front, it's Lombo La Fifi, a sensation early. 3/4 of a length away, Napoleon. Mr. DG 3 wide. He's still forging forward. On the inside, Light Red, Sandy Bay in the middle. On the inside, Golden Resonator. And then Torpedo at the head of the others racing midfield. The Dyers Cast was next. Joe Fess catches them up. There was room on the pegs. He drove up to 4th last. A length and a half to Final Question. Getting back to the tail of the field is Country Ways, who needs to run about top 5 now. Mr. DG has taken up the running. Lombo La Fifi, let him go. So Mr. DG, who's already in the final, will now control the race from here. Lead time at 67.6 is very, very quick. Lombo La Fifi happy to take the trail, and now they back off. Left without cover was Napoleon. He needs to run about top 4. A length away then to Sandy Bay's got the 1-1 covering Light Red. Torpedo was next, needs to win. So does the horse in front of him, Sandy Bay. Golden Resonator on the inside. The Dyers Cast can make the final if he wins. On the inside, Joe Fess. 3rd from last, Hancock will be sweating. He needs to run in the top 7, I think. 2nd from last is Final Quest, who can win and get in the final. And Country Ways needs to run top 5. He's back last. It'll be no easy assignment. The first quarter of the last mile in 32.1. They turn into the straight for the bell. Mr. DG hard held by Butt. Leads about a half length on Napoleon. On the inside, racing 3rd is Lombo La Fifi, full of running. And then Sandy Bay, Light Red. Hooking out 3 wide, Torpedo as Country Ways started to run. The Dyers Cast has trying to push him 4 deep out of the straight past the bell. And then Light Red, Joe Fess now away from the inside, driving up in the middle, still in traffic. Final Quest 3 deep around him, and then Golden Resonator. That quarter in 29 and 7, the half 61.8. It's a packing field by the Palms at the 500. And the leader is the sensational Kiwi, Mr. DG, looking to remain unbeaten in the heats, and he's travelling beautifully. A length away, Torpedo to second. Dropping out of it, beaten Napoleon. It's gone. He's out of the final for sure. Lumbo La Fifi getting up onto the back of the leader. Country Ways has moved up fourth. A gap to Light Red, then the die is cast. Joe Fess is about seventh as they corner. In the straight, Mr. DJ the leader. Lumbo La Fifi's gunning him down. Mr. DG tackled by Lumbo La Fifi. She takes the lead. Oh, what a consolation. Lumbo La Fifi has bloused out Mr. DG right on the wire. About 6 lengths away, third is Torpedo. Behind them, Country Ways, the die is cast, Sandy Bay. And Joe Fest, he might get into the final by a shaving of nail. Behind them, Final Quest, Golden Resonator, Light Red. And then Napoleon won't make it. And he was about last to finish. Number 3 is the winner. Lumbo La Fifi, driven by Chris Alford. And what a great drive it was. A great drive.
Yeah, it was a fantastic drive. And I guess it's a tragedy in hindsight that she had a few things go against her in the initial 2 heats of the Inter-Dominion. But that is the form she can produce. They are being loaded at Mandurah. Joe Fess will make the final. So will Country Ways. And we'll have a complete wrap-up on the final tally in the 3,000 kilometres away. But I got him 6th, which would earn him 7 points. But even if he, even if he finished 6th, it would still put him ahead of Flashing Red and through to the final. And the other horse, Country Ways, who finished 4th, will get 9 points. He will also go to 31. So we're looking at a field of the Falcon Strike, Double Identity, Sokiola, Nats Nifty, Faking It, Mr. DG, Selby Bromack, Buck the Odds, All Heart, Peggy Dale, that's 10, then Joe Fess and Country Ways from that heat. First Emergency, 29 points, Flashing Red, and then that gap to Blue Galleon, 25. Torpedo, who finished 3rd, also will end up on 25. So the 2 of them. So yes, just confirming, as I thought, Joe Fest has gone across the line officially in 6th place. That will get him 7 points and 31 overall, which will propel him into the final. He will definitely get into the final on that. And Brian Hancock, the master, will have 3 runners, Peggy Dale, Selby Bromack and Country Ways in next week's grand final. Country Ways, well, he had to come wide from a long way out. He battled on okay. You would have probably expected him to get past Torpedo, but that wasn't to be the case. Lumbo La Fifi, what a wonderful, wonderful mare she has been. But I guess she's been a wonderful filly. I guess, if anything, that's been her sticking point. She hasn't probably showed, as a 4-year-old, her best form, but she was certainly dynamic in the McInerney Ford a couple of weeks ago before having very little luck behind Takanarama in the Golden Nugget. So she has returned to scale victorious. And there is Aidan Warwick, her trainer, congratulating Chris Alford. He's pretty happy with that, Aidan. Of course, he won the $50,000 2-year-old fillies classic final with Baby Blues in the previous race. Chris Alford in the Spider on this particular occasion. So Country Ways, just repeating officially, has clocked in 4th place, and he will make it through to the Inter-Dominion final. Just some dividends for you now. Give you some dividends for Mandurah as well. But race 7, Quartet 387 and 11, $4,769.60. The double 5 and 7, $24.20. The quaddie 3, 4, 5 and 7, or races 3, 4, 5 and 7. Pay on the numbers 5, 2, 5, 3, $2,092.40. Now that double was on races 5 and 7, not numbers 5 and 7. The numbers were 5 and 3, $24.20. And as far as New South Wales information on that particular event is concerned, we need to bring you a daily double. Also some Unitab information on that particular event at Gloucester Park, the final heat of the Inter-Dominion. The first 4 on Unitab 38711, $6,779.40. The treble on 5, 5 and 3, $601.70. The daily double 5 and 3, $21.50. Still awaiting to go trackside at this stage. Wes Cameron hasn't appeared with Chris Alford. Mandurah dividends. The quartet on the Western Australian. Now there is a minor protest coming through at Gloucester Park. This could be interesting. It's 5th against 4th. Now, 5th might have been the die is cast. Don't hold me to it, but it might be. And just confirmation that it is actually the die is cast. So 5th against 4th. I don't have... The final lap is all we're getting through. Back straight of the final lap. Protest 5th against 4th. Well, this could make things interesting for Country Ways, actually. Interesting. Country Ways not just there yet. Okay, Wes Cameron is trackside with Chris Alford. Let's link in with this post-race interview.
Showed what she can do, and, you know, if she had a bit of luck through the heat, you know, what could have been.
Tonight, lovely run throughout following Mr. DG.
You know, it worked out well. She came out of the gate well and got to the front, and then there was a bit of pressure the first lap, so, you know, when he got around, I was pretty happy to take the trail, and she was really keen on his back, and when we turned for home, I thought, well, she was going to run second because he still looked to be travelling well, but she really knuckled down that last 100.
How confident were you at the bell? Did you think that if the gaps appeared, you'd be able to get over the top of him?
I wasn't so sure. He's been sort of pretty dominant this series, and you know, I thought, well, at least as bad as it's going to be, she's going to run second, so, yeah, I was very happy.
Final half was in sensational time, and the last quarter clocked in 27 and a piece. It must be great to be able to drive a mare of this ability.
Yeah, no, she's been great, you know, right throughout her career, and it's good to see that she's, you know, showing her best again.
No doubt she'll be pretty hard to beat in the consolation if she gets the right sort of draw.
You would think so, you know, and Aidan said, you know, he thinks she's peaking right now, so all looking well for next week.
Well done, Chris.
Thanks.
Great to have Chris Alford, one of the best in the business here at Gloucester Park, steering Lombo Lafifi home in the final heat of the Ross North Inter-Dominion Championship here at Gloucester Park tonight as we hand it over to Tim Gossage.
In place of Tim, it might be me, but I'm sure that we can provide some information here for you. Quartet at Mandurah, 4, 7, 3 and 2.
Dramatic final night here, but he deserves to be in there, doesn't he? He was shoved 4 wide with about a lap to go, and I thought he showed plenty of ticker tonight. Maybe he's been kept to sit sprinting in the first 2 rounds, but he had to dig deep tonight. Close call, but he's got through, and I think he'll be driven quietly in the final. He is a winning hope with the right run.
Any indication as to which horse Blake might drive at this early stage? I would suggest Country Ways.
Country Ways is definitely the #1 pick pre-barrier draw,
right.
But at this stage he's just leaving his options open. He'll discuss it at length with Brian Hancock, who also has Greg Bennett up his sleeve to drive either the #2 or 3 chance.
Mr. DG, look, he wasn't disgraced. Probably when he rolled to the front, I, like many, thought it was game over. He was beaten by a very sharp sit and sprint horse tonight in Lombo Lafifi, and they did beat the others a long, long way.
Come on, mate. Yes, they certainly did. You're right about that, but I don't think he was disappointing. The key was the lead time. They went 3 seconds quicker in that than the other 2 heats, Sam. I know they're getting close to a start, but Gary Hall's just wandered past. We might just grab him quickly. Come in and join us, Gary. The rundown on the Falcon Strike tonight, developing into a sprint home like that, probably didn't really suit him, but next week is now the focus.
Yeah, next week's the focus, Adam. You know, like, I was just happy for him having a reasonably easy run tonight. And he came through in flying colours, and I thought he would, you know, went very good. He only finished 3 metres from the winner, and Gary never really punished him that much. And it's not his go turning a race into a sprint home. And you know, I'm real happy with him. Whatever beats him will win the final.
Oh, big call. I'll go investigator here. Any thoughts? Or there's been, put it this way, there's been talk around the track that because he pulled up a little sore after night 1, he may not be as good as he was going into the series. You've dismissed that already?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with him. He's 100%, Adam. I think tonight, I think with the real hard run in the mile race, he was a little bit flat on Tuesday night. And probably tonight he was probably not quite at his top, you know what I mean, as far as being zippy sort of thing, you know, like up on top of his game, which he kept, you know, he's just a little bit, you know, down.
We saw that down the back straight.
Yeah, he just sort of, you know, not a bit sluggish and not really showing a lot of high speeds. But I think, you know, with the week off, and I'm sure with the week off and truly run race, you'll see the real Falcon Strike step out next Friday night.
All right, so confidence very high. As you said, whatever beats you will win the final. Who is the main danger?
I still think Mr. DG, you know, he went great tonight again, but I still think he's the one that's been the foremost right through the carnival. And there's a couple of others in there. Sokiola, if it led and got away with a bit, and they're probably the main 2 anyway. And Double Identity, I was a bit of a query over him. They seem to be driving him pretty soft, and I'm not sure whether they're 100% happy with him, but at his top he'd probably be a danger.
Certainly would. Thanks for joining us on pretty short notice. Stick around, I'll have a chat with you and record something for In the Gig on Sunday. But they're nearly set. Back to you, Sam.
Okay, well, the first four now who won't be in the final got some consolation, and she may even get more consolation next week when she actually races in the consolation. I don't think anyone has ever got consolation into a sentence 3 times like that before. So that's your final field. Flashing red, just missing out on the Inter-Dominion. Unfortunately, Adam Hamilton has left us, but we certainly thank him for his efforts tonight. As always, he was fantastic trackside. We certainly hope that you enjoyed the coverage. Just wrapping up that quartet on the last race at Mandurah, 7, 4, 6 and 3, $1,848.40. Big Inter-Dominion Grand Final in Perth next week. The home of the Inter-Dominion. We'll be here to do it all again. Hope you can join us. Hope you enjoyed tonight's coverage. We certainly enjoyed bringing it to you. Until next time, bye for now.